I was doing 750-pound squats. I was doing 750-pound deadlifts for reps, and I wasn't growing. I was like, what's going on? I was doing really heavy 2-plate curls, no biceps. Why not? I got really sore elbows, sore shoulders, no biceps. So I went down that path for years of like beating my head against the wall, like because everyone says you got to work harder, you got to do more, you need more volume, you need heavy compounds, you got to do the like how they do the basics.
I know that we get carried away with being a new father and everything. So I want to stay focused on a couple different things because you are a form guy, and we've both been, we both are strong guys.
Yeah.
And we were strong as youngsters.
Yeah.
And we've maintained that strength.
Well, so that's what people don't get, right? It was like at one point I was like everybody else. I was just that guy who was. I had a chip on my shoulder because I attached to being a lazy kid. So when I started bodybuilding, like I was going to be known as the hardest working mofo that anyone has ever known, and I wanted to crush everybody.
Right.
And I would intentionally go to my way to do that. So like I said, no, I don't talk numbers, but very strong at a very young age. And what happened? Did I build muscle? Yeah, I built muscle. My strengths got very strong, and my weaknesses were very weak. And I would just train harder and harder and harder, like that kid today at the gym. He's like, I do everything for back. I'm like, yeah, dude, I was there. I was doing 5-plate bent rows with strict form, what I believe to be strict form.
Right.
I was doing 750-pound squats. I was doing 750-pound deadlifts for reps, and I wasn't growing. I was like, what's going on? I was doing really heavy 2-plate curls, no biceps. Why not? I got really sore elbows, sore shoulders, no biceps. So I went down that path for years of like beating my head against the wall, like because everyone says you got to work harder, you got to do more, you need more volume, you need heavy compounds, you got to do the like how they do the basics. I do more often. Like fuck, I did everything. Smashing my head against the wall, all I got was sore joints. Yeah, so that thankfully I was just lucky enough to find that mentor who said, hey man, why don't you try this? He never said, hey, this is the way to do it, which is why I try not to do that either. I said, hey, why don't you try this? And like, oh, I'll never tell somebody, hey, that you're wrong. Like, it's not my job. Go if you're enjoying that, go do it. Like, that's a big part of it. But what I like to do is just lead them down a path. Like, hey, what are you trying to do with that? Like, I'm trying to build my lines. Oh, okay. Well, why don't you try it this way instead?
Try it a little different.
Yeah, and like, oh my gosh, I've never felt like that. So then they discover it on their own. It has nothing to do with me, right?
Yeah, but you're a good coach. You're a good coach, and
I'm blessed to teach a lot of people.
And you're paying attention to it, and you're helping them. And we were training this morning, and that young kid that just took second in the pro, in the pro cal, beautiful body.
I looked at his physique out today. He looked great, man.
He looked great
from the front.
And he did take second.
Yeah.
So it's a pro show. That's badass.
Yeah.
But he did something that I see a lot of people do, and that is the whole listening but wanting to respond to what you're saying.
Well, because they have their belief for what the answer should be. And as you know, I'm not going to fight you on it. Like, some people come for looking for answers, and some people come looking for affirmation that their answer is correct.
Right.
So I'm not going to fight you on it. When you're ready, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So.
Empty the cup, my friend. Bruce Lee, empty the cup.
Yeah.
When it's too full and it's overflowing, I can't teach you anything.
Yeah.
And I know that Heath Evans went out and trained with you, came back and just was praising it. But I can see what you're doing, and I see everything you're doing, and I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mostly because we've trained together.
Yeah.
We've butted heads on training. That we love it because you and I are savages and friends, but we push each other in the training.
Yeah.
And all we're trying to say is, yes, strive to be better. Mostly because when I was going back to the earlier when I won the universe again, that drive has kept me through my whole life. But if I could slow it down, and that's all I think I'm trying to say to you guys, and mostly when we're training, slow it down and understand that it's that day that matters. It's not the show that's coming. Winning the show is not going to change you much. Chasing all that.
It's a $7 trophy, man. It's great for 5 minutes, and then you're like, what? It's like when you buy that new pair of shoes.
Yeah.
You're like, God, these shoes are. You buy that new trinket or whatever it is, right? Like that car. You're like, it's awesome. With a girlfriend that you really like, I need to have that girl or whatever. You get it, and then you're like,
It's the moments. It's the moments that it's cool, or the moments that you're with somebody. And I know that my pup passed last year, and it was the year I took living in the moment 100%. And she made me forced to live in the moment because I'd do my appearance, we'd get back on Sundays, and we'd shut everything off and shut the phone off and everything. I'd take her for a swim, I'd take her for a walk, and those are the best days ever. 10 times better than winning the universe, or 10 times better than any of that. And then days when I'm holding my baby now, it's like just that moment of him smiling, my heart smiles. And I'm like, that's what matters.
Yeah, I think bodybuilders, I'm sure deep down somewhere in there, there's something, some emotional issue that we're all fighting. And I've never felt love in my life. I didn't know what it was until I had my children. Like, I didn't know what it was. And then as soon as you feel that, you're like, oh, wow, like, this is amazing, right? And it completely shifts. Now you're not priority number one anymore, like we talked about.
Right.
You're going from one way down the list. Yeah, exactly.
I'm like 7 now.
But that's okay, man. But that's okay, right? You know, we've had our moment in the sun. Now our goal is just to lift them up.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And
The biggest coaching we've ever done.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my best to not coach, right? Like,
Okay.
I'm doing my best to let them learn and experience and let them fall on their face and go, that's a bad idea. I'm just there to, like, if they're about to go over the edge, I'm just going to pull them back a
Good.
bit.
Guide them a little.
Yeah. My wife is very much, and maybe not with Mona, but like typically women are a little bit more protective.
Oh,
Whereas-
Mona, let me just be clear. Mona turned into a lion. I'll
Right.
walk into the baby's room, and if he's sleeping, and Mona's handling this, so I have no problems or qualms with this. I'll walk into the room, and if he's sleeping, she's like, "Get out," and it's like that like deep voice, "Get out."
Well, she wants
Whoa.
to rest, right? Because like
Yeah.
that's her moment of like serenity.
Yeah. So they do change. I love it.
Oh,
I
for
love
sure.
that
But
animalistic.
my wife's very protective, but
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, let them go, man. Let them figure. Even fighting, let them fight. They're gonna figure out where the line is. They have to figure out where the line is, right? Like, it's important to realize, like, oh, if I hit them over the head with this, they're gonna hit me back, or I'm gonna get in trouble, or they're gonna be injured. You know, you have to learn those things. And I think a lot of parents prevent their kids from doing that stuff.
Canadian.
I'm gonna learn.
Canadian? Would you hear it? Yeah.
Eh?
Hey.
We talked about form, and we talked about when we were younger, we'd just get in there, we'd want more weight than the next guy, more reps than the next guy. And my first training partner was Tom Plaz. In California, my first training partner was Tom Plaz.
It's terrible.
You're right.
That's the bar. Like
Yeah.
It's like, say I trained with Dorian to begin with, and then everybody
Right?
else says, I might as well retire.
Yeah, it's and Tom and I would do 3.5 hour workouts, and we would just go and we'd do force reps, we'd do drop sets, we'd do heavy, we'd do light, we'd do everything.
Dude, I wish I was there.
What would we say? What would you say to the young self that went in there thinking, well, if 5 days is good, let me go 6. If 6 days is good, let's go 7. If one workout a day is good, let's go 2 workouts a day. If the arms aren't growing,
Man,
let's double
at
it.
that age, I think it's great. So there's 2 things that I think need to go into building a great physique. And ladies, if there's ladies watching, I apologize. But first you need to learn the skill, and then you need to build the skill, right? And you need to build the ability to do the exercise, and then you need to build your balls, because both of those
Okay.
are necessities.
Mona has my balls.
Right.
So,
So took 'em back.
get them back
Right.
at some point.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's no doubt that going beyond what you think is physically or mentally capable is a part of the process. But first, you got to be guiding that ship in the right direction,
Okay.
right? Like running faster and faster in the wrong direction is not going to get you where you want to go. We have to first steer the ship with perfect execution of the skill, and then there's value. Dude, I've done the craziest, stupidest workouts, and I don't take those away. Like, I think those are valuable. I would train with anybody, and still I will. Like, you know, during my career, I would have gone with anybody at any time. You want to go 3 times today? No problem. Like I said this morning, if you would have texted me this morning and said, "Hey, we're
Said
doing
legs again.
I did legs yesterday. I'm like, of course I'll do legs today. Why wouldn't I do legs today?
We're sick.
It's a workout with
We're
Michael
sick.
Irvin. Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? So I would do that, because why not? I don't do it for. It's not just about the muscles. Sometimes it's got to be about just like, hey, I need to build my balls, and that's just obviously my way
Part
of
of
saying you got to get strong, man. Mentally, it's not about the body; it's all about the mind.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I have slowed down movements. I've changed form. I have put myself in weak positions
Yeah.
to make it stronger.
That's it, man.
I
Strong as
have,
the weakest link.
I believe that it's the range of motion for me. If I can keep that complete range of motion, I can keep doing this for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved that after 41 years of lifting, 41 years, that we did some back contraction today that you taught me, that I learned from you today after 41 years of doing this. So I just want to put that out there, that
Thanks,
after
man.
41 years and being a leader in this industry since 1987, I've been in the magazine. So I've been at the pinnacle, the top of the hill since 1987. And I learned something today that I never learned before. So
Thanks, man.
I love it.
I'm a student of it, and I'm blessed to have great coaches, man. To have great guys who taught me, like, hey, man, you're thinking about this the wrong way, and then they send you down the path to the discovery yourself. That's all. You just have to leave the door open.
Yep.
To no, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
Like, no matter how good you are, like, I don't think I know everything. I'm nowhere close to that. So no matter how good you are at something, there's still something to be learned, always, and the way to improve.
I love that.